Hi, I'm Danny Lipford from today's Homeowner. I'm in the antique room here at the home of Stanley Hand Tools in New Britain, Connecticut. And I'm checking out this really neat display of tape measures, starting with a very old tape called the pull-push rule. I don't know how old that thing is, but this display kind of goes through kind of the evolution of all of the tape measures, all the way down to the most popular one of them all, the Stanley Power Lock. This tool is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, and I thought it'd be interesting if you could see how they are made. Christensen is the plant manager here, and today he's taking us on a personally guided tour of their operation, from raw materials to finished product.
The very first step in our process is to take wide bands of material, as much as 2 feet wide, and slit them into exactly the width taper we want to make, whether it's 1 inch or 1 1/4. This material is high carbon, soft steel. We basically take this material that you just saw slit. It's soft material. We're going to run it through this hardening furnace. We're going to quench it and actually form this shape. That's what puts the cross curve in the tape roll. From here we go downstream and we're going to temper the material so it's not as brittle. We're going to coil it back up again and prepare it for the next operation, which is painting. We put 2 coats of paint on these. The raw material goes over one of those red rubber rolls that has paint applied to it. It runs in the opposite direction of the material, so it puts a very uniform coat. It goes to a second red roll where we put the coat on the back, into a heating or drying oven. The material comes back, we put a second coat on with the red wheel. Another set of red wheels puts a coat on the back, and then again back through the drying process, and then we coil the material up. It's completely dry at that point.
Next stop, the printing department.
Here we actually are going to print the graphics and the graduation onto the tape rule blade. In order to print a 25-foot blade, you need a 25-foot rubber band like this. So these bands are both rubber. They have a mirror image of what we're going to print. We put a very light coating of ink on this rubber band, and then we transfer it to this plain yellow tape roll substrate. The band that I showed you before is now strung onto this machine. We apply black ink here. We make it meet the yellow tape roll. It is now black. The red tape roll band comes in here. We print it red, and then off the blade goes, red and black, to be dried.
The accuracy of that printing is crucial, so precision product testing is a vital part of the process.
We take 1 blade off of every single coil of tape rolls that we print. We put it on this device, and this device measures 5 key points. 4-inch mark, the end of the tape roll, and 3 critical points in between. This ensures that if we have the first blade of every tape roll coil accurate, all the blades internal to that coil are accurate.
Now the blades can move on to laminating.
What we do here is we apply a polyester material to the tape rule blade to protect it against abrasion resistance. The way it works is we actually apply glue, both sides. We send it into the oven and dry it and get the glue tacky. When the tape rule returns, we apply 1 piece of Mylar to the top, 1 piece of Mylar to the bottom, and then we heat seal it so we have an integral assembly.
And this goes over the entire...
All the way, it encases the whole tape roll. It goes across the face and wraps around. We put a piece on the back, and then we seal it all together. This is exactly what they use in the grocery store to cover meat with.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah. But it's very strong.
Yes, sure
And
is.
it's very abrasive resistant, so the printing will not wear off. That's what protects this so it doesn't get worn off in an environment like drywall or concrete or something like that. Yep. So we're the only ones that do that.
At this point, the blades can be cut to length and inspected.
Whatever length tape rule it is, whether it's 25 or 30 or 35, it finds a fiducial mark, it cuts it off, and then it comes out onto this bench. And then they're fanning them out, and they're looking for anomalies between one and another. They're looking for something that's not the same when they lay them all out like so. Once they discover it, these people are trained that they know the root cause of the problem. So an example, this particular blade I have in my hand, it has a defect. You can see it looks like it was painted the wrong color, but when in fact this discoloration is due to burning in the printing department. These people are trained so they know that that's the type of defect. They input this into our computer system, and then we have a group of process engineers that will go back through the process, determine why it's happening, look for the root cause, and solve the problem so it doesn't occur again. Upon the completion of the inspection, these tape tools then have a hook assembled to the end, and they become ready for the automatic assembly process.
But before the tape can go into a case, it needs a spring to make sure it stays there.
Earlier in the process, I showed you how we heat treated the material to make a blade, and we actually put a curve into it. Well, when we heat treated the spring, we left it flat, like the one here. So this was going to become a spring for the tape roll. In the process behind me, we're going to take this flat material, and we're going to actually cold form it to put a permanent set into it, and this is going to serve as the spring that pulls the tape rule blade back inside the tape roll. In this process, not only do we cold form it, we also cut this end detail, which is going to be attached inside the tape roll, and the process actually anneals it as well, so I can bend it without it breaking. And it cuts the detail on the other side, which will be where we're going to hook up the blade to this spring. The final and probably most complicated process here is the assembly and packaging of all the components that we manufacture here in the facility. 23 years ago, we developed an automated system to guarantee consistent quality for this product day after day, week after week, year after year. So this is the culmination of the manufacturing process you saw today for this PowerLock tape roll. This is how we ship it to the distribution center, in turn to the retailer, and finally to the end user. And this by far is the most recognized tape roll in the whole world.
I've been using these tape measures my entire career, so I already have a great deal of respect for them. But it's especially gratifying to know that these tools are still being made in the same plant for the past 50 years, right here in the USA, with raw materials that come in from all over the world and used to turn out some of the world's best tape measures.